Myanmar has reimposed strict measures to contain the spread of COVID-19, and this includes banning all travel from Yangon and grounding all domestic flights. Authorities there have already ordered partial lockdowns in more than half of Yangon's townships. Now, Myanmar reported 115 new COVID-19 infections today, so this brings the total number of cases there to almost 2,300. And for a closer look at the situation, Leong Wai-kit joins us now. Wai-kit, so Myanmar, we know, overcame its first wave of COVID-19, and this was in June, again with various strict measures in place. So how different is their approach this time round, though?
Well, Glenda, it seems that the authorities this time are more prepared, they're more experienced, but they're also taking a bolder, firmer stance and being more punitive. For instance, this time around, the lockdown is a lot swifter, mainly because the rate of infection is faster, but also because people now know what a lockdown is and they can prepare themselves. There's no panic buying this time, for instance. Myanmar's stance now is firmer because recently, for instance, they published the details of passengers who refused or failed to respond to contact tracing authorities when they flew from Rakhine State, where the second outbreak started, to Yangon. State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi recently came out to address the nation, saying that one of the ways to curb COVID-19 is through severe legal action. And we've seen there have been raids, there have been arrests made in Yangon's nightclubs, for instance, or KTVs in recent days, in recent weeks. But by and large, Myanmar is using a tried and tested method that balances reactive and preemptive elements. For instance, in the first wave, when they found out that many of the COVID-19 cases were imported, they blocked off their borders, they banned international flights, they cancelled foreigner visas up till today. This time round, it's domestic travel, and therefore the internal movements are curbed. They've also been quite preemptive. In the first wave, the government had the luxury to quarantine people for a longer period of time, 21 days, and then followed by 7 days of stay-home notice. This time round, because the rate of infection is faster, understandably, they'll have to reduce the 21-day quarantine period to 14 days, which many countries are practicing, so that the quarantine sites are not stressed.
Wai-kit, we've had a week of official campaigning for these general elections. How effective or productive do you think the party's outreach efforts have been so far?
Well done, depending on which party you ask. Answers will be different. For the NLD, although there were not many, there was not much focus on campaigning. The face of NLD, Aung San Suu Kyi, has been busy. She's been keeping her hands full with, rolling out COVID-19 measures, and inevitably this is going to benefit NLD because people are going to remember that this is a party-led effort at the NLD government rolling out these measures. But if you ask other parties, say in Rakhine State, they're having a very hard time because the entire Rakhine State is under partial lockdown, meaning no walkabouts, no rallies, no door-to-door visits. And even if they were to take their campaigning online, that's not going to be easy because there are some towns in Rakhine State that recently had the internet restored because of conflicts going on with Arakan Army. But these towns have 2G networks, so it's not going to be very fast or effective for politicians or candidates to use the internet. Of course, across the country, there is the political broadcast platform where candidates can go on national TV, national radio to address voters. But even for that, you'll have to travel to places like Yangon and Naypyidaw. So all in the first week, not so productive for many political parties, quite productive for the NLD.